victims class?
Victimized class. Victimized by the people.
It's a very large class.
Very large class.
It's the world I live.
No, work as such is absolutely alright. What you are doing is to uplift the people to the normal human level. Those who have been suppressed, depressed, maltreated, abused. So they should come up.
There are so many. Yeah, so many.
And thereby to make the people awakened for such complications in the society. If rest of the people are little bit awakened that this is what anti-social, anti-human movements are going on in the society, underground. So unnecessarily it should not be enhanced nor promoted by us. We should be well aware and we should try with our level best to root it out from the society in order to make the society healthy.
I believe we can. I believe we can, and I believe we can do it. I do. I believe we can do it. Tomorrow when I speak, I think we can do it in less than 24 hours. And it's simple.
No problem. One has to commit oneself to do it as a part of one's own mission. Every individual must have some sort of motto in his life. So your motto is also worth appreciating. Your motto is very noble. It is not religion that can improve the consciousness of the people. It is this sort of awareness can make the people conscious that we are not animals, we are human beings. We should not allow this sort of animality in our society.
Those who do the animality, it's a very small group. It's a very small group of them. But they are the most, we confuse power and force, so they are the most forceful.
It is a cancerous spot in the society. It is to be operated upon and to be rooted out. Otherwise it will spread. If we are ignorant, rest of the people are ignorant. It will spread fast and ultimately the entire society will be unhealthy. So psychological health of the society is also to be maintained. It is not physical health to be maintained is important. Besides it, psychological health is also to be maintained in order to elevate the mental consciousness. Now, our primary remedy to it is our own awareness, and that is what you are doing. You are not simply helping and promoting the suppressed people to bring them out from that vortex. That is good, but you are making people who are quite unaware of what is going on this way in the society. So if they will start helping them, so your mission will be stronger.
I find people sometimes they don't want to become conscious. They're so fearful. That's been a big
Those who have been already victimized must have at least that much of confidence and daring to come forward and to say their bitter experiences so others will not be victimized as them. And people will be more aware.
Yes.
And they will start helping those victimized people like you. So they will come up, they will be natural, psychologically they will be at ease and they will have their new life to begin. Once victimized is not victimized forever.
No.
So they should be brought out from their inferiority complex. It is a psychological remedy that you are providing to this society, and that is very appreciable, worth appreciating.
Thank you.
as Alan gave it to me, that your invitation card of the book launch. So that is a very nice, some sort of social revolution America
Yes.
needs.
Very much so. Yes. Although I would like to avoid that because I'm afraid it will be violent. And I think the way to do that is to hold those perpetrators in compassion. Because I look at it as at one point they were victims too. So it's a learned behavior. So I trust that if I can get a wide enough audience that I will help to prevent violent conflict.
No, that is very crucial problem, and if it is urgently attended and rightly attended, then you can make the society more healthy. That is what you are doing, important and very relevant social work, looking to the entire environment of your America. But still, if you can join with this mission, Manish Bhai and these youngsters, so this is the mission to change the consciousness.
Yes.
You can make the people to change their ignorance and be aware of what is going on in the society.
Yes.
Now, if you start joining our forces, these forces, so they cannot be made aware of what is going on in society, but they can be made aware what is to be the new consciousness that is to be generated, which can transform the society. It can transform the healthy society, and it can transform the society that has become victimized by such antisocial and hostile forces.
Yes. I am all in.
So your mission also will be enhanced, and you can provide, you can diagnose that this is the disease, this is social disease. But from this movement of transforming the consciousness of even the so-called healthy people, that will provide true and genuine psychological remedy to them. So they will be more healthy, their consciousness will be uplifted, and they will be better sheltered. Those who have been victimized will be better sheltered, provided the people who are sheltering them will be advancing in their level of consciousness.
So they will not shelter them anymore.
Positively.
It's funny. I was writing my speech for tomorrow, and I was talking about how we push those who defend them and shield them into the light, so that not from a blame but from a how do we bring them into the light for them to see what they're enabling to happen. Not from anger, from an understanding.
So if you can have better understanding, you can have genuine understanding of one another, then it will create harmony in between. And that is what much needed. America has got everything. Society here has got everything. But if this violence is rooted out, this abuse is rooted out, this psychological and emotional exploitation is rooted out,
Yes.
then healthy society can go forward with a greater speed.
And because America is a beacon for the world, then I think it will shift other countries rapidly.
Definitely. And this is what very initial level of spiritualization. You can find affinity with the people. Your suffering is my suffering, your problem is my problem. Your march is my march. If you grow faster, I also will go faster. There is no competition, and sense of conflict and competition are rooted out from the society. That society can be mentally also healthy, psychologically also healthy, and spiritually also a bit elevated.
Yes.
If the beginning is good, end is bound to be better.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So your beginning is very good. So I personally wish that you will get mother's blessings, mother's protection and shelter. So mother will start awarding you a different visions how new society, more healthy society, spiritualized society can be born from the very present American society.
That would be remarkable.
And that will be your motto of tomorrow. Your starting is all right. What you are doing is absolutely all right. But your motto is still to make this movement widespread
Yes.
in America.
Yes.
So people will start following your vision,
Right.
people may start following your thought, and people may start following the force that you want to imbibe and generate in this society.
That's good.
That's a direct blessing.
So it is slow spiritualization of the society.
Say that again.
It is a slow spiritualization of the society. People will be more and more aware of their soul,
Right.
more and more aware of their spirit over and above their psychology. Psychology may be backward, psychology may be violent, psychology may be crucial, psychology may be critical, but soul is always blissful, soul is always sympathetic, soul is always merciful, soul is always to give solace, peace, progress to people, those who are away from this sort of internal peace and internal bliss. So that can only be offered to them by those who are consciously awakened.
And maybe what you had mentioned earlier to me, I think that since 2007, when I was thrown in prison in Zimbabwe, I think that I was not conscious enough of the evil that surrounded me and came back here with me. And so it was only not until this year, so I was thrown in prison and then I had 2 electrocutions. So failed, thank you. Thank you, Mother.
Where did,
They were both, I was electrocuted in California twice.
for this purpose?
Yeah.
Wow.
Once in one house where I lived, and then the other one, when I got electrocuted the second time, I closed my company and my not-for-profit. Because I went to the sheriff and I said, what are the chances someone gets electrocuted twice in a lifetime accidentally? And he said, about nil. And so then I realized, I think I better be quiet for a while. And then last year I started working on the story of Larry Nassar, and I was working with raise consciousness on sexual trafficking. And in March of this year, I got picked up in a Lyft vehicle, and you guys have, in America we have Lyft and Uber, and and I was threatened again, and it was, depending on whether you talk to the FBI or the CIA or the Carmelite nun, I was going to be this guy's first kill, and he got scared.
Right. This sort of work, once upon a time, in my country also was launched by Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa, you might be knowing her
I
name.
know her, yes.
She did. So you are also here in America going on her path. This is American society. They have got their own problems. In India also, in Indian society,
Yes.
they had their own problems. But Mother Teresa sacrificed and dedicated herself to this weaker section of the society. So you are also in one way to dedicate yourself to this weaker section of the society. That is very precious work, and at least one who is conscious and one who is sympathetic towards the people who are suffering terribly. So you will get blessings from society and from divine too.
I'd like the blessings from my 16-year-old who's asked me to stop because he would like his mother around when he gets older. So I plan tomorrow to be my last speaking event. And I had planned that I share the wisdom I've gained from my 30 years so that I can pass it to people too. So I don't know how it will work.
Nay, you are consciously beat awakened. And that is why you can serve these people through your mission. If you are still awakened more, you will just spiritualize them. You can bring them to the spiritual order. You can imbibe your spiritual understanding to them and to the people who are exploiting them. So they also will be changed with your spiritual touch. And those who have been victimized, they will also be uplifted. So, who are the master, who are the exploiters, who are abusing the people, knowingly or unknowingly?
Mostly knowingly. Yeah.
They also will have to be treated in a special way. So they also can get rid of their crimes. It's a psychological crime.
Agreed. And
So,
they get rid of it through compassion?
Through compassion, through change in the mode of thinking, change in the mode of urges, natural urges, to abuse the people wrongly.
Yeah.
So it is some sort of animality and assault on the contrary. It's a psychological and physical assault on the people
Yes.
who are weak,
Right.
who cannot resist.
And who cannot take care of themselves.
So you are just providing them courage of will, courage of inner strength, and courage of inner awakening. So this is, to me at least, it is also initial stage of yoga that you are doing. It is yoga, nothing else. To have sympathy for the people who are weaker, who cannot get themselves safeguarded. So you are providing them some sort of shelter.
I do think that consciousness you talk about with, for me, I call them the perpetrators. The idea that at least I think from the beginning of time we've been taught that in America, business is business. So when you are in business, it doesn't matter if you're selling a human being. And for me, that is almost unforgivable that you want to sell the 3-year-old. So it took me a while to get to that compassion for them. But I think that they're trainable because at some point on a cellular level, they learned that money and force allow you to do whatever you like. And again, it's that small group who believe that other human beings are less than, or furniture, or even chattel. And I think it's an old belief. And so I do believe a good example of this, may I share an example, is Robert Kraft, who is he owns one of the football teams here, and they've won the last 6 Super Bowls. And in February of this year, he and a group of 299 other men kind of pooled their pocket change and put together $20 million and created 3 brothels. And they brought in a woman from China to run the brothels. So when you think about it, this woman came from the continuum, which I'll talk about tomorrow, which is she was groomed from an early age. She was sexually abused, probably raped, so that she becomes part of that. That's all she knows. It's like being on welfare, right? So when you're a third generation welfare recipient, you don't know any better. You don't know any different. And so they pooled their money, created these 3 places, and it was literally right when Robert Kraft's team won the Super Bowl that they were arrested for prostitution. And right now, today, none of these men will ever get a mugshot or ever get, they'll ever have to face themselves. And I think that's the key. How do you face yourself? So what they did is they trafficked these 13-year-old girls from China who had no money, no parents, and they're desperate. And so they promised them jobs here.
One way or the other, you are giving them new life. One way you are giving them new life.
The girls?
To those who have been already victimized and abused.
Yeah.
So they should not give up the hope for better living of tomorrow. They should aspire for better living of tomorrow, and you are just holding their hands to come out of the dirt. Once fallen in the dirt, is not ever dirty. You can get yourself fresh, you can get yourself more confident, provided helping hand like you, they receive and they bank upon it.
It doesn't seem fast enough. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Because of the pain. I see
No,
so
no.
much of it.
It requires many people, more and more people like you should get together and should make this a very powerful social movement. Then American society will be still upgraded. They will be upgraded. Potentiality is there, money is there, environment is there. Only initiation is required. And initiation in the right direction is very rarely available everywhere all over the world. So people should pick it up in the right perspective. And people should take it up as their own mission. And if we are in a better position in the society,
Right.
if we are in a better setup of the society, now it becomes our bounden duty to be human to them.
Can I do something different or better or faster to spread it?
No, you can widen this movement, and from that you will learn your experience. It will be recompensated by the people, and people will have to accept it. Truth is truth anywhere. Goodness is goodness everywhere. It's not to be advocated, not to be published. If you can demonstrate your goodness with your own example, those who are good people awaiting for goodness will join. You should start walking all alone. But if you are walking in the right direction, rest of the people will join, and the entire society will have right direction in this way. This is very positive movement to me at least. So keep it up. And more people like us, they will join with you. They will start helping you also. And you also bring all your people who are thinking in a right way, who are thinking in a human way, instead of going restlessly in this direction of the animality. So they will get themselves free totally from committing such sort of silent crime.
Oh, it's such a great word for it. It is. It's silent crime.
It is a silent crime. And the criminal also doesn't know what he is doing. Out of urge, out of
Consciousness?
Emotional pool.
Say more. I don't understand.
Out of some inner push, irrational push from inside,
Is it evil? Mm.
they commit this sort of crime. It is anti-human,
It is. And does it come from an unconsciousness?
unconscious.
I often wonder, is it conscious? Like, is it a conscious evil? No?
He told me beautifully that it is not, there is never a bad man, it's an ignorant mind. So if you fix that mind, there is no, I will laugh because it's ignorance, so it's not a darkness, it's
Even
absence of light.
criminal doesn't like this crime. Even criminal doesn't like this crime. But because of the inner force,
Yes, you're right.
he commits.
You're right.
Left to himself, he is alright. Left to himself, he is absolutely healthy. But the force of the circumstances and force from within, irrational force from within, that pushed him on this way, and he commits the crime.
When we were raising our boys, I always tried to separate an act from their humanity. And I think that is what we have to do with perpetrators. It is not, you are not a bad human being or a bad soul. You're doing bad things, but that doesn't make you bad. Does that make sense?
So you must be self-enriched, first of all. You must feel that your inner voice is a true solution to their problems.
I trust that it is.
So you must develop your inner voice.
Okay.
You must develop your inner consciousness to diagnose the people who are exploiting and who are exploited. So if you slightly raise up within, then they will start getting shelter from you. Both these actions. Both these actions.
So I have a question. I have this ability when I see a child in a setting to know when if they're being trafficked or abused. It's kind of like when maybe I think when veterans come from the war and they have this shared experience. So having come from molestation and assault, it's a simpatico. So I recognize it, and then when I do, I speak, and I usually get in trouble, and I find myself either arrested or kicked out of hotels, right? So when you say to raise your voice, or how do I do it without not getting into so much trouble?
No, you will start. We have already started loving human. That is loving God. Loving human is loving God. So the affinity you have been feeling since long back, when the very first start of your movement, you have been loving goodness, you have been loving humanity, you have been loving something that is within even the victims. You are not simply treating them, you are not simply making them safer, you are not simply bringing them out of this dirt, but it is the psychic affinity, it is the inner affinity, it is the soul to soul affinity that works in you, and that will be blessing for them. And if you can generate more strength as such, more strength of your own consciousness, then they all will be benefited and your movement will get momentum.
And how do you not get depleted?
How do you not get into trouble?
Yes, that was question one, but how do you not get depleted? Because sometimes the suffering I feel is so overwhelming.
She feels the suffering.
Energetically exhausted.
No, that is your excessive sympathy, excessive attachment for the people who are suffering. That is the quality of your personality, but it has to be still made more concrete, that whatever I am doing in the interest of the whole society, not only interests of that
Ah.
particular section.
Very, very good point. Because and in fact, I wasn't writing my speech that way. Now I'm going to change it a little bit because I don't want to alienate the perpetrators. Because I think they have to be able to be free to come to forgiveness for themselves. And I think the way to do that is with compassion.
So with your demonstration, with your action, with your overwhelming hand of cooperation to them, rest of the people in society, who are unaware of these sort of things and who are helpless also to help these people, they also will be awakened that we also come to join with this movement and start doing something for such people, and that negativity is to be absolutely abolished from the society. No doubt, way is very long, but is not impossible. It is very long, very hard. You will also start suffering so many things. Psychologically, you will be harassed like anything. But you should keep it up.
So can mother, like consciousness, if she can pray and with that energy she can eliminate and then keep moving faster?
Why not? You should join this. You should invoke the presence of divinity that is there in your consciousness through certain yogic practices. Then you will be stronger internally.
I'm absolutely, I would just need to know
What
how
to do.
and what. I'm ready right now.
No, you start praying to the Mother, invoking her presence in your movement, in your goal, in your achievement, and in your target.
When I was on the run, after I got picked up by the lift vehicle and I had to flee, I was worried about my family and friends, certainly my boys. So I had to leave where I live. And I felt Mother alone. In fact, I used the name Mary Magdalene when I was on the run. And I felt her presence.
This sort of idea, this sort of inspiration, when you received first time, so the inspiration that ultimately touched you, that inner voice touched your mind, this is the programming to be launched. It is worthwhile doing it. So that is the inspiration from within you receive, that is divine. And you pray to the Mother. She is a Christian lady, dedicated herself totally to our spirituality in India and became world mother. Why not to follow her footprints, to be stronger in your movement? Why not to try to seek strength from her divinity?
Okay.
And that you need most. And once you start praying to her, asking for her divinity, asking for her shelter, her protection, her force to awaken you and to awaken others too equally, then you will see the marvelous results of your movement. And that is what you need most. Because what human can offer is absolutely calculated. But what divine can offer is always ex gratia.
It's always what?
Ex gratia.
Unlimited.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know what that meant. Okay.
Grace duplicated to infinite ex gratia.
Okay. I'll take that.
You cannot calculate it, but you will be overall protected, and overall you will feel yourself enriched. That my work is good, let it be better tomorrow. and day after tomorrow the whole world will admit that it is the best way of life and she lived in a best way. So you will be icon for others. You will be role model for others. It's not merely a social work. It is the work of the divine that you are executing.
Thank you.
But as and when you find time, make it a point to come to this place. Over and above here in one room, mother dedicated to Sri Aurobindo in Pondicherry. So the relics, the hair, golden hair of Sri Aurobindo as divine remnant relics has already been installed there. You go there, bow down, start seeking strength, praying to him and to her, and your cause will be so enhanced that you will start getting positive results in abundance. Do it and frequently try to do it.
Okay.
As and when you find time, come to Manish Bhai's home and have a divine touch.
Okay.
So, sir, with Mother's grace, she need not retire on Sunday, but she can be protected and invigorated.
Very true.
But the preparation, what he said, that you prepare yourself first the pure connectivity at the cellular level, and then you are entering into that zone where you are untouchable, and then Mother will automatically
Then
open
your
all the
work
channels.
will be multidimensional.
Then what?
Your work will be multidimensional. Your expression will be very profound. Your expression will be just a volcano of strength and inspiration for others.
So you're telling her, instead of a candle, you become a
You
preparation
become
with
the-
fireball.
You become the sun,
Ooh, I like
not
that.
only fireball. You become the sun.
I like that.
You are just lighting up the lamp. So why not to awaken your soul as sun for others? Darkness will automatically disappear. Ignorance will automatically disappear. The urge to commit sin will be automatically rooted out. For divine, nothing is impossible.
Can she attend the English discourses that you are doing?
Hmm?
Can she attend the English discourses?
Why not? She should attend.
I love that.
From 6 onwards in the church, that is what church is meant for this. Church is meant for this.
Church.
No, but he's talking of a different church, not the church structure,
Okay.
but you are the walking church. So that's what
okay.
you want to prepare us for that.
Got it. So I had a visceral reaction when you said that.
I understood. That's why I got.
Okay. Yeah.
So what he's saying is, enough of this time. Mother even says there will be a death of all religion into oneness. So enough of this. You all are the walking temple
Divine is
church.
divine. Either it is in church or in our temple or in mosque or anywhere. So we are related to the divine. We are not related to the structure. We are related to the divine. We are not related to the methodology. We are related to the divine. We are not related to the preaching, sermons, scriptures. We are related to the truth of the scripture, light of the scripture. Their entire humanity is one.
I hear you. I hear that. I hear that.
He said beautifully, if there is a harmony, then divinity will automatically manifest. So he has come here to unify everything that exists. And he met Stephen Hawking one-on-one.
Yes.
And he told Stephen Hawking that, Mr. Hawking, the gist of the conversation, that you have understood time, right? And I have read everything that you have written.
Right.
But I'm here to talk about consciousness, which is zero density matter, which is infinity, which is timeless. So in this dimension, you still have miles to go, Mr. Hawkins. Because he indirectly said, I understood you. I read everything you have written. Do you understand me?
And did he? Did he understand?
He took the blessing packet of Divine Mother.
Blessing packet and kept before him on his computer.
Oh, he did.
And I told him frankly, As and when you feel bewildered and confused in your scientific research of cosmos,
Yeah.
at that time bank upon her grace. She will inspire you and lead you on your right way, and you will come to your conclusion.
So another question for you as relates to Stephen Hawkins. I take in a lot of physical pain from people. So in fact, yesterday I was in a great deal of pain. And so how do you avoid that, or can you? Because I struggle with is if I take the pain and am I removing it from them and helping them, but then how do I get rid of it myself? So
That is what the force and power physically you want, psychologically you require. And for inner opening, it is the grace of this Divine Mother can only help you.
okay.
So you are unconsciously in search of the divinity who hold your hand and lead you on this path.
Wow.
And she will do it. Just have a gesture of prayer, have a gesture of surrender for a moment. So your year will be better. You pray to her for a moment and your entire life will be changed.
And she had that one glimpse yesterday. I just recorded that cellular prayer, and she said that she felt good. That was her actually.
Oh, yes. I know, because I realized that when I went to Ellen's last night and saw her on the wall as well. I said, oh, that's what you had texted me yesterday. And when I was in such pain, I was crying. And when I played your voice.
It is not physical pain. It is the pain of the rest of the cells who are not virtually awakened. It is the dormancy of your other cells who aspire for divinity to imbibe. That creates pain in your body.
So how do I get those cells to shift?
So human cells in your body are to be awakened, and that is only your soul can do it. But your soul should be connected with the divinity. Then right channel will be operated, and you will free from your physical pain. You will be free from your psychological stress, and you will be free from external forces who might be working upon you.
Okay. I'm in. I'm in.
So this is what your soul needs. And it is very opportune time today that you have come here. At least this conversation is there, and you will get yourself much protected, enriched. You will feel experiencing the inner strength. Inner strength is greater than psychological confidence. Psychologically we might be well convinced, but internally, unless we are internally blessed, we cannot get our expected result.
There was something that shifted in me this year when after it's sort of like it was kind of like if you ever lay out dominoes. Do you know what dominoes are? You lay them out and you stack them up, and then you press one and they all go.
બધા એક સાથે પેલા પત્તા મૂક્યા પડી જાય ને, they all fall. Dominoes effect.
Yes, and I realized from 2007 what had really happened, and you can't go back to unconsciousness, and I think that it had a profound effect on me. So I'm on the path. I just would like to have my physical body survive to make this happen.
That's why you came here. Now you have protection.
No problem. You will be well protected. You just go up step, bow down, pray to the Divine Mother, and she will be with you right from this moment.
Okay.
that will be the absolutely protective sheath you will start feeling. In each and every action now you would take will be well safeguarded prior to its execution.
Okay. So please let me know what I can do to help what you are doing.
You will have to pray for 2 minutes every day.
I promise.
If you can spare 2 minutes every day,
Yes, I
but
will.
from the storage of your sincerity,
Okay.
not from the storage of your logic
From my cells.
selves.
So I look at it, when you say that, I look at it as my heart. It's not the same thing, is it?
Same thing, no
Okay.
problem.
Okay,
No
got it.
problem.
All right, so that is easy.
From anywhere you can switch on, light will be there.
Okay.
But you are to switch on. So at least spare a moment to switch on. Light is waiting for you to manifest.
Okay. Can I go up there now?
Huh? Once you go there, and it will be manifested. Tonight while you're asleep, you will feel that mother's protection is with you. So last night also you slept. You did not feel it. That is what you can clearly distinguish tonight's sleep from the previous sleep. That is a so categorical and speedy result you will be made to experience. It is that sort of divine concrete reality. For any good people, any man or woman who is good at heart, sympathetically human, has every right to be divine.
Culturally here, we've been taught that to live in your heart is not a way to move through the world, and especially in business. It's been at least until this generation, a liability. And I believe that that's shifting. That we can all live in our heart. So it's hopeful.
Very optimistic. It's not merely a wishful thinking.
Yeah.
It is concrete reality of tomorrow. You will do it.
Okay.
It is the question only of starting. If the beginning is good, end is sure to be better.
Okay, I have one last question for you. Will you talk to my 16-year-old?
I will.
You will? Okay.
Keep it up and start doing in good faith. Mother will be with you.
Thank you. May I give you a hug?
No hugs. I
No
will
hugs.
touch you.
I'll give you. I'll tell you the best. Sir.
Oh,
The
no.
best. No, that's okay.
He doesn't touch women. This is it.
No, it's not like that.
That is
But-
also Edwin demanded for the first time. Edwin,
Yeah.
he also demanded the same thing.
See, you wanted a hug too? I'll
Yeah.
give you a hug, okay?
No. But this is the beauty.
Now what Edwin is doing at present, instead of hug, what Edwin is also doing the same thing.
Okay, so I do this.
Yes, and you receive the bigger hug.
Can I-
Yeah, just put your hand here.
I touch. You okay if I touch your
yeah,
foot?
yeah. And then just stay there and close your eyes and blessing पकड़ लियो. Take.
Do I
એ તો
get up
ઉપર
now?
જશે ને ઉપર જશે તો ઉપર જ આપું.
Okay.
Do I get up now?
Yes.
Yeah,
you good. Okay, now I'll tell you how big this is than the hug.
Yeah.
Hug only comes from heart to heart,
Uh-huh.
but when you are there, all the energy portals and the energy that he's carrying is transmitting into you.
Okay.
How do you feel?
I feel like I'm off the ground. Thank you. Now I'm going to give Edwin a hug. Is that okay? No, I feel it more from, like, I can feel through my